Good evening, everyone. It's 10:51 p.m., almost 11 o'clock, and I just want to do a quick video discussion on what is approaching the northern mid-Atlantic this evening and overnight tonight. This is one dynamic, impressive disturbance that is approaching the region. And I'm going to show you a couple of features why I am so impressed with this disturbance. First of all, we can see on the water vapor, we don't even need models. Take a look at this comma-shaped formation that's starting to develop. You see this black area here? That means we have very strong sinking air. And that's the key component here to this whole setup as far as the wind gusts are concerned. Because what's happening here is that sinking air is starting to draw those strong wind gusts, the strong jet streaks in the atmosphere down towards the surface. And that's what's going to lead to very powerful wind gusts developing throughout the region. We can also see some of the lighter blues here on this water vapor satellite picture, which basically signifies very strong lifting in the atmosphere of moisture being pulled up and producing the type of lifting that can produce very intense precipitation rates. So you can see this right on the water vapor right now. So let's dive into some of the other observations. Via the SPC, we have a very strong jet streak of 500 millibars. Notice the orientation here. We're starting to get a negative tilt here. It's starting to develop over western Pennsylvania in the 500 millibar short wave here. Now, the difference between a short wave and a long wave. Long wave is the actual trough. Short wave is this part right here. And when this part right here becomes intense and starts to go into a negative tilt, that's when these little tight disturbances can become very strong and intensify very quickly. And so the concern here is that you see this strong jet streak here that's anywhere from 100 to 120 knots. Well, some of this is going to get mixed down towards the mid-levels and the surface. And we're starting to see that at 850 millibars. Look at what's happening here with the thermal gradient. Very tight packing of the thermal gradient starting to develop with this trough. You can see the trough axis right here. And you could also see the strong wind gusts are starting to develop already from 40 to 60 knots already mixing down into the atmosphere and already starting to work its way down towards the surface. And so as a result, at the surface, you can see that strong pressure gradient and you could say thermal gradient already set up where temperatures are in the upper 40s to mid 50s over much of the northern mid-Atlantic, and then they crash into the lower 30s over western Pennsylvania. And basically almost a 15 to 20 degree drop in a very short period of time. And notice the winds sustained are at 30 miles per hour and increasing. And you can see that transfer of energy and wind movement, of atmospheric movement of the air masses from the upper levels of the atmosphere to the surface, leading to these strong winds sustained and also wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. And also I want to show you finally, this is the lapse rate. Now, this is the mid-level lapse rate from 700 millibars to 500 millibars. This time of night is pretty impressive. Okay, when you see this in the dead of summer, this leads to severe thunderstorms. In this case, this is going to lead to enhanced squall lines that are capable of intense, heavy downpours, frequent lightning. Yes, lightning is a significant threat here, and also the potential for heavy snowfall, especially over the interior. So we got a mix of everything here. But that isn't even anything. Take a look at the low-level lapse rate. Over 8 degrees Celsius. When you start to get to this area where it's hashed, you usually see this type of lapse rate in the middle of the summer in the afternoon, not at night. And it's certainly not in this scenario here where you have very cold air aloft, and that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. So finally we go to the radar, and you can see what's approaching already. Strong thunderstorms already over southern New Jersey as we get to 11 o'clock at night. This is the precursor. Here comes our heavy downpours. And then, of course, we have our strong wind gusts behind it. And then we have our comma head starting to develop as well. And if you want to take a look and see how this is changing over to snow, well, take a look at what we have here. We have severe thunderstorm warnings already in portions of Delaware. We have the rainfall changing over to snow over northern Pennsylvania. Now, accumulation is probably according to 2 inches for your highest elevations, but you can see the dynamic nature of this disturbance and the potential for very strong wind gusts here. So stay indoors, Be safe. And whatever you do, please do not drive in this type of weather because the wind gusts associated with this storm tonight all the way on until early tomorrow afternoon are going to be pretty impressive with wind gusts 50 to 75 miles per hour. Stay safe out there, and as always, thank you for following NYNJPA Weather.